Hello and welcome to another episode of today's GK. I am Pooja Dwivedi, and in this segment we bring to you objective questions on a daily basis to help you with your preparation for your prelims examination. So let's begin with the practice question of last segment. India's biggest floating solar power plant by generation capacity is being developed in Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, West Bengal. So as seen in the comment segment, many of you have answered it correctly. The correct answer to this question is option C, that is Telangana. So let's move on to the explanation, which says that the country's biggest floating solar power plant till date by generation capacity is being developed by the NTPC in the reservoir of its thermal plant at Ramagundam in Telangana. Its generation capacity is 100 megawatts and is said to be commissioned by May and June. Now let's move on to the next question. Consider the following statements about parliamentary privileges. Parliamentary privileges are special rights, immunities and exemptions enjoyed by the two houses of parliament, their committees and their members. Parliamentary privileges also extend to the president, who is also an integral part of the parliament. So, which of the statements given above is or are correct? One only, two only, both one and two, neither one nor two. The first statement saying that parliamentary privileges, if we talk about, these are special rights plus immunities as well as exemptions that are extended to the members of the two houses of the parliament, the LS and the RS. That is correct. And their committees as well and their members. That is very true. Now, the second statement is saying that although President is, of course, an integral part of the Parliament, but parliamentary privileges does not extend to him. The privileges under Article 361 of the Constitution extends to the President. Keep that in mind. So, the second statement becomes incorrect. Now, the correct answer to this question would be A, one only. Parliamentary privileges, yes, we have discussed about the first statement, and the Constitution also extends the parliamentary privileges to those persons who are entitled to speak and take part in proceedings of the House of a Parliament or any of its committees. Now, these also include the Attorney General of India and Union Ministers. Now, the parliamentary privileges do not extend to the President, and Article 361 of the Constitution provides for privileges for the President. Moving on, consider the following statements with respect to national flag. The Constituent Assembly adopted the motion of national flag on 26th January 1950. The design of the Indian tricolor is largely attributed to Mahatma Gandhi. So, which of the statements given above is or are incorrect? One only, two only, both one and two, neither one nor two. The first statement saying that the Constituent Assembly, it adopted the motion of the national flag on 26th of January 1950 is incorrect because it was adopted on 22nd of July 1947. Alright, so keep that in mind. And the design of the Indian tricolor is not largely attributed to Mahatma Gandhi, but an Indian Andhra Pradesh freedom fighter by the name of Pingali Venkaya. So, if we talk about the incorrect statements, both are incorrect. The correct option would be option C. Now, recently, if we talk about the Andhra Pradesh CM, he urged the centre to confer the Bharat Ratna upon Pingali Venkaya, who designed the national flag posthumously. He was an Indian freedom fighter from Andhra Pradesh, and the Constituent Assembly adopted the motion of national flag on 22nd of July 1947. Tigray region, recently seen in the news relation to ethnic cleansing, is located in which of the following countries? Afghanistan, Ethiopia, Iran, Yemen. So we have already discussed about the Tigray crisis in one of our in-news segments. So if we talk about the process of ethnic cleansing, it relates to Rohingya crisis as well and Tigray crisis as well. Tigray region belongs to Ethiopia. The correct answer for this question is B. Recently, the US held that conflict in the Tigray region of Ethiopia, it amounts to ethnic cleansing. Large number of civilians have been brutally killed in Ethiopia's Tigray region amidst fighting between the local and the federal governments. You can see here, this could be asked in your preliminary examination that Tigray crisis, it belongs to Ethiopia. That is correct. But what are the borders with which Tigray region shares its borders? Which countries? So here is Eritrea, right? So keep this particular region in mind. And also Sudan lies here, right? And this is a very important part by the name of Djibouti. We have discussed about Djibouti a lot. Moving on, let's talk about our next question. Consider the following statements. Energy Conservation Building Code was launched by Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Bureau of Energy Efficiency is a statutory body under the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. So you have to choose the statement which is or are correct. One only, two only. Both one and two, neither one nor two. If we talk about the first statement, this building code for energy conservation was of course proposed by Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Now, BEE works under the Ministry of Power and not under the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. So the second statement is incorrect. The correct answer for this question is option A. The Energy Conservation Building Code was launched in 2007 by the BEE to set energy efficiency standards for design and construction of buildings as a first step towards promoting energy efficiency in the building sector. BEE is a statutory body under the Ministry of Power, which was set up in 2002 under the provisions of Energy Conservation Act of 2001. It is mandated to implement policy and programs in the area of energy efficiency and conservation. Let's move on to our next question. Consider the following statements about Inner Line Permit System. ILP is issued by the central government only and can be issued for travel purposes solely. Uttarakhand does not have any ILP system. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? One only, two only, both one and two, neither one nor two. So if we talk about the first statement, ILP is issued by the central government only. And we have discussed many a times that whenever the word only is used in a sentence, it becomes doubtful. So here it should not be the central government but the state government. And yes, it is issued for travel purposes solely, that is correct. So, but because here it's central government, so this first statement becomes incorrect. And Uttarakhand does have ILP system. So the second statement is also incorrect. Now, neither one nor two are correct. D. Recently, Uttarakhand government had sought withdrawal of the Inner Line Permit System. In Uttarakhand, tourists have to obtain ILP for locations near China border, at least in the three districts of Uttarkashi, Pithoragarh and Chamoli. If we talk about ILP, it is implemented under the Bengal Eastern Frontier Regulation 1873. The ILP is an official travel document which allows inward travel of an Indian citizen into a protected or restricted area for a limited period. It is issued by the concerned state government and can be issued for travel purposes solely. Moving on to the next question, the space military exercise Asterix, recently seen in the news, has been conducted by which of the following countries? USA, France, Russia, Japan. So if we talk about the exercise Asterix, it has been conducted by France. So the correct option for this question would be B. France has begun its first space military exercises to test its ability to defend its satellite, and the exercise drills are codenamed Asterix to commemorate the first French satellite Asterix from 1965. Moving on to the next question. Consider the following sentences about tribes. The distinction between nomadic and semi-nomadic are primarily based on ethnic categories or social groups. The nomadic tribes maintain constant geographical mobility, while semi-nomads are those who are on the move but return to fixed habitations once a year, mainly for occupational reasons. Which of the above sentences is or are correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. Now, the distinction between nomadic and semi-nomadic are not primarily on the ethnicity or social groupings, but the degree of mobility, how much they move. So, the first statement is incorrect. But the second statement is correct, which says that the nomadic tribes maintain constant geographical mobility, while semi-nomads are those who are on the move but return to fixed habitations once a year, mainly for occupational reasons. So the correct answer would be option B. Now, in a written reply in Rajya Sabha, the Minister of State for Social Justice and Empowerment stated that a Development and Welfare Board for denotified nomadic and semi-nomadic communities was constituted for development and welfare of denotified nomadic and semi-nomadic communities in the year 2019, and the distinction between nomadic and semi-nomadic do not involve distinguishable ethnic categories or social groups. It rather describes the degree of mobility practiced by them. And the nomadic tribes, they maintain constant geographical mobility, while if we talk about semi-nomads, they are those who are on the move but return to fixed habitations once a year, mainly for occupational reasons. Moving on to the next question. Consider the following statements about Science and Engineering Board. It is a statutory body under the Department of Science and Technology, and it is chaired by the Cabinet Secretary. So, which of the statements given above is or are correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. So, if we talk about the first statement, yes, it is a statutory body under the Department of Science and Technology. So, this is correct. The second statement saying that Cabinet Secretary chairs it, it's incorrect because the Secretary to the Department of Science and Technology chairs it. The second statement becomes incorrect and the correct option would be option A. Now, the Science and Engineering Board has set up a portal called Project Information System and Management that offers real-time information on various research projects supported by it. And Science and Engineering Board is of course a statutory body under the Department of Science and Technology, Ministry of Science and Technology, established by an Act of the Parliament of India in 2009, and it is chaired by the Secretary to the Government of India in the Department of Science and Technology and has other senior government officials and eminent scientists as members. LUPEX is a joint lunar mission of which of the following space agencies? ISRO and JAXA, ISRO and CNES, ISRO and ESA, ISRO and NASA. So, it is a joint initiative between India and Japan. So, the correct option to this question would be option A, ISRO and JAXA. Recently, Indian Space Research Organization or ISRO and Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency reviewed cooperation in Earth observation, lunar cooperation and satellite navigation. Lunar Polar Exploration Mission aims to send a lander and a rover to the moon's south pole around 2024. Moving on to the next question, it is a shrub which produces an orange-yellow colored edible berry in India. It is found above the tree line in the Himalayan region, generally in dry areas such as the cold deserts of Ladakh and Spiti. In Himachal Pradesh, it is locally called charma and grows in the wild in Lahaul and Spiti and parts of Kinnaur. So, identify the plants using the options given below: rhododendron, deodar, sea buckthorn or juniper. So, if we talk about this question, the correct answer to this question is sea buckthorn, option C. Now, the Himachal Pradesh government has decided to start planting sea buckthorn in the cold desert areas of the state this year. CM Jai Ram Thakur announced in his budget speech last week. According to the Sea Buckthorn Association of India, around 15,000 hectares in Himachal, Ladakh, Uttarakhand, Sikkim, and Arunachal Pradesh are covered by this plant. Moving on, as a folk medicine, sea buckthorn has been widely used for treating stomach, heart, and skin problems. Sea buckthorn also has commercial value as it is used in making juices, jams, and nutritional capsules. Besides being an important source of fuel wood and fodder, sea buckthorn is a soil-binding plant which prevents soil erosion, checks situation in rivers, and helps preserve floral biodiversity. So, let's talk about the upcoming UPPSC preliminary exam. If you are an aspirant of the UPPSC exam, you can enroll in our quick revision program for Hindi medium right now, and the admissions have started. You can call on the given number for more details. Moving on, let's look at our practice question. Which of the following are correct regarding the World Health Assembly's 6 nutrition targets to be met by 2025? Reduce stunting by 90% in children under 5. Reduce the prevalence of anemia by 50% among women in the age group of 19 to 49 years. Ensure 70% reduction in low birth weight. Ensure no increase in childhood overweight. Increase the rate of exclusive breastfeeding in the first 6 months up to at least 50%. Reduce and maintain childhood wasting to less than 50%. You have to choose the correct code. 2, 3 and 5 only. 2, 4 and 5 only. 1, 3, 4 and 5 and 6 only. 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 only. So I hope you'll be able to answer it correctly in the comment segment. That's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated and thank you so much for watching.